Full House, 1987 to 1995. Then and Now, 2026. Amazing transformation and tragic loss. They were the family that taught a generation what love and home really meant, but nearly 40 years later, their real lives tell a far more emotional story. From shocking reinventions to a heartbreaking loss that changed everything, here's what really happened to the Full House cast, and the Journey fans still can't forget. Bob Saget as Danny Tanner. Bob Saget was only 31 when he became America's most beloved TV dad, but his real life was far more layered than Danny Tanner's spotless kitchen. Beyond Full House, he hosted America's Funniest Home Videos, toured constantly as a stand-up comic, and narrated How I Met Your Mother, building a career that balanced wholesome television with famously edgy comedy. He married Kelly Rizzo in 2018 and remained a devoted father to his 3 daughters from a previous marriage. Then came the tragedy that shocked fans worldwide. Bob passed away suddenly in January 2022 at 65. His legacy today isn't just laughter, but the reminder of how quickly life can change. John Stamos as Uncle Jesse. John Stamos, now in his early 60s, has managed something rare in Hollywood, staying relevant while keeping the charm that made him famous. After Full House, he built a steady career with roles in ER, Glee, and recent projects like Dr. Odyssey, while also producing and writing about his life in a candid memoir. His personal journey hasn't been without turbulence. An earlier marriage ended publicly, and he openly addressed struggles with alcohol before entering rehab in 2015. Since marrying actress Caitlin McHugh in 2018, he has embraced fatherhood with their son Billy. Today, John's focus leans towards selective acting, family life, and preserving the legacy of the show that made him a household name. Candace Cameron Bure as DJ Tanner. Candace Cameron Bure grew up in front of millions, and by 2026 she has transformed childhood fame into a powerful media career. After marrying hockey player Valeri Bure in 1996, she stepped back from acting for several years to raise their 3 children, later returning as one of television's most recognizable stars in family-friendly films and Fuller House. In recent years, her outspoken religious and political views have sparked both strong support and controversy, keeping her constantly in the public conversation. Now in her late 40s, Candace serves as a creative executive in television while continuing to act, shaping projects that reflect her values and long-term vision. Jodie Sweetin as Stephanie Tanner. Jodie Sweetin is 44 in 2026, and her story remains one of the most dramatic transformations of the entire cast. After Full House ended, her life spiraled into severe drug and alcohol addiction, a battle she has spoken about with remarkable honesty. Years of recovery followed, and by the late 2000s, she achieved sobriety, rebuilding her career through Fuller House, television appearances, and her podcast, How Rude, Tanneritos. Today she is married to Mescal Wasilewski and a devoted mother to 2 daughters. Free from recent controversy, Jodie now focuses on advocacy, speaking openly about recovery and resilience, turning her past struggles into a source of strength. Andrea Barber as Kimmy Gibbler. Andrea Barber, now in her late 40s, took one of the most unexpected paths after Full House. Rather than chasing fame, she stepped away from acting entirely, earned a master's degree in women's studies, and worked in academia while raising 2 children. Her marriage later ended in divorce, a difficult period she has discussed candidly, including struggles with anxiety and depression. When Fuller House revived Kimmy Gibbler, Andrea returned to acting, surprising fans who assumed she had left Hollywood for good. Today, she balances podcasting, writing, and public appearances, focusing on mental health awareness and sharing a grounded perspective on life after childhood fame. Dave Coulier as Uncle Joey. Dave Coulier is 67 in 2026, and his recent years have been defined by both fear and gratitude. Long known for voice acting and comedy, he continued touring and hosting projects tied to the Full House legacy. But in late 2024, his life changed dramatically when he was diagnosed with stage 3 non-Hodgkin lymphoma. After months of treatment, he was declared cancer-free in 2025, a recovery he describes as a second chance at life. Married to Melissa Bring and now a grandfather, Dave has shifted his priorities toward family, health, and meaningful creative work, embracing a slower pace than the fast-moving career of his earlier decades. Scott Weinger as Steve Hale. Scott Weinger, now around 50, followed a path few teen actors ever take. While fans remember him as DJ, his easygoing boyfriend, he quietly stepped behind the camera, graduating from Harvard and building a career as a writer and producer on major television series such as Blackish. Many are still surprised to learn he was also the original voice of Disney's Aladdin, a role that continues to define part of his legacy. Scott keeps his personal life largely private, though he is married and has a son. Today, his focus remains on writing and producing, proving that success in Hollywood doesn't always happen in front of the lens. Marla Sokoloff as Gia Mahan. Marla Sokoloff is 46 in 2026, and her real-life journey looks nothing like the rebellious teenager she played on screen. After Full House, she built a steady acting career with roles in The Practice, films like Dude, Where's My Car, and numerous television appearances, gradually proving she could handle more serious material. Off-screen, Marla has been married to musician Alec Puro since 2009, and together they are raising their daughters while maintaining a relatively private family life. Free from major scandals, she has also expanded into directing and creative development, shifting her focus toward long-term storytelling and projects behind the camera. Blake and Dylan Tuomy-Wilhoit as Nikki and Alex Katsopoulos. Blake and Dylan Tuomy-Wilhoit, now in their mid-30s, chose a path few former child actors take, walking away from Hollywood almost entirely. After their years on Full House, Dylan moved into production work, building a career as a sound artist on major film and television projects, while Blake pursued a very different calling, becoming a firefighter and dedicating his life to public service. Their personal lives have remained largely private, though Blake faced a divorce in 2024 after several years of marriage. Neither twin has been linked to scandals, and both appear content with lives far removed from the spotlight. Taj Mowry as Teddy. Taj Mowry is 40 in 2026, and the child who once played Michelle's best friend quietly built one of the most stable careers among the younger cast members. After Full House, he starred in Smart Guy, appeared in Baby Daddy, and continued working steadily in television, voice acting, and music. Taj has kept his personal life relatively private, though he has spoken movingly about his past relationship with actress Naya Rivera, whose death in 2020 deeply affected him. Known for avoiding controversy, he has focused on creative work and family, maintaining a reputation as a grounded performer who successfully transitioned from child star to adult entertainer. Blake McIver Ewing as Derek Boyd. Blake McIver Ewing, now 40, has undergone one of the most unexpected personal transformations of the entire cast. After stepping away from acting for a time, he explored music and live performance, even working briefly in nightlife and fitness, a shift that surprised fans who remembered him as a polite child actor. Openly gay and active on social media, Blake has spoken candidly about identity, body image, and personal growth. He continues performing as a singer and occasionally returns to television for reunion appearances. Free of major scandals, his focus today is on music, performance, and connecting directly with audiences. Miko Hughes as Aaron Bailey. Miko Hughes is 39 in 2026, and his career has taken a uniquely unconventional direction. Known not only for Full House but also for memorable child roles in films like Pet Sematary, he gradually shifted away from mainstream Hollywood, focusing instead on independent film projects, directing and appearances at fan conventions. Miko keeps his romantic life private and has avoided major controversies, preferring a quieter lifestyle centered on creative independence. One of his more unusual passions is beekeeping, which he often shares with fans online. Today, his work reflects a desire for artistic freedom rather than celebrity, choosing smaller projects over blockbuster attention. Lori Loughlin as Aunt Becky. Lori Loughlin is 62 in 2026, and her story remains one of the most dramatic reversals of fortune in Hollywood. After years as a beloved television star and Hallmark favorite, her career collapsed during the 2019 college admissions scandal, which led to a prison sentence and widespread public backlash. Married to fashion designer Massimo Giannulli and mother to 2 daughters, Lori has spent recent years attempting a careful return to acting, including roles in smaller television projects. Though controversy still follows her name, she has spoken about rebuilding her life and career, focusing on redemption and a more cautious public presence. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen as Michelle Tanner. Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen are 40 in 2026, and no one from Full House transformed their lives more dramatically. After dominating television and direct-to-video films throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, the twins made a decisive break from acting to build a luxury fashion empire, founding brands such as The Row, now respected worldwide. Ashley quietly married artist Louis Eisner and became a mother, while Mary-Kate experienced a high-profile divorce and earlier personal struggles that played out in the public eye. Despite their global fame, both remain intensely private. Today, they are not former child stars, they are influential designers shaping the fashion industry. From a billion-dollar fashion empire built by the Olsen Twins to the irreplaceable loss of Bob Saget, the story of Full House proves that life after the cameras can be more dramatic than any script. Some cast members stepped into new worlds, others fought private battles, and a few simply chose quieter lives, but the bond that once made them a family still connects them in the hearts of fans. Looking back in 2026, which journey surprised you the most, and whose story stayed with you long after the laughter faded?